NFT's impact on gaming and metaverse.
Discussing NFT's impacts on gaming and metaverse, please welcome Fraser Gordon, CEO at QuantumWorks, David Porte, founder of Washington Elite, Micah and lead blockchain consultant at Smart Ledger, and Michael Uraba, head of corporate development at Legends of Bezogia, and lastly, Josephine Karner, CEO at Iconic Mates.
Thank you. So this is a great panel. My gosh, this is some of the guys. I love what these guys are doing. It's phenomenal. So I'm gonna start by letting you guys have a couple of minutes introducing yourselves so people know. And what really motivated you to actually come up with what you are doing, as founders? Yeah?
Hi everyone, my name is Fraser Gordon. I'm the CEO of QuantumWorks, and we're building the first proper high-fidelity first-person AAA shooter game, which will be on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Now, what drove me to actually do this was that I've been playing games since I was young, and I didn't like the way that games were monetized. And with my kids growing up, I didn't want them buying loot boxes because essentially that's just straight up gambling. There's no other real way to look at it. So what I did was I looked at it and I thought, why couldn't we run the entire economy through a smart contract based on the blockchain? And to do this, we would give players back ownership of all the money in which they spent when they were buying items or products in a game, and allow them to trade between each other. And by doing so, it create an open economy. So we don't want to sell to the players directly. What we want the players to do is trade between themselves. And all we do is take a small cut of that, which helps fund the studio and move things forward. But ultimately for us in the crypto space, what we're doing is building a game that gamers actually want to play and is fun to play. Instead of building a game which is just driven around creating another way for people to earn money, you need to build a game that people want to play and enjoy playing first. The rest of it will come after that.
Hi everyone, so my name is Michael Uraba. I work for Legends of Bezogia. We are basically an MMORPG, play to earn, and based upon NFTs as well. A lot of the things that he mentioned we actually really agree with, and are part of the inception of what we've done. With a slight difference, we basically are firm believers that you need to remove the barrier of entry into that whole NFT gaming and metaverses and MMORPG. If you take a look at the whole environment, in most of the games on the blockchain that are crypto related, you need to acquire these extremely expensive NFTs. And that's the first and major barrier of entry. So we created a concept which is called rent to earn, where the basic of everything is a lot of people can buy these NFTs, use them or not use them, but at least whenever the random person starts the game, the AAA game that we've done, they can easily, just seamlessly, without even knowing it, create an ERC20 wallet. The game does that for him. Then they can save their keys and that's done, but at least it's doing that for them. Remove the barrier of entry, and you don't have to buy these NFTs to start playing. There's an inside market game at the splash screen of the game where you can borrow the NFT of somebody that owns it. And that NFT automatically within the smart contract shares the revenue of the earnings, 70% for the players and 30% for the NFT owner. So basically that concept enables all the people that don't have the initial capital to start playing to play for free. And then as it goes, they can then acquire their own and create a whole economy around that.
Hi, thank you, David Porter, Washington Elite Crypto Conference coverage worldwide. We partner with 10 to 30 conferences every month, and we developed the Global Boost blockchain along with the YesScript mining algorithm in 2013. And one of my favorite things to see nowadays is all these different factors, abilities that blockchain can do are now merging into the metaverse. And I'm really excited to see these coins advance, especially in the gaming world. The market's so huge. and we're going to see some huge gains. There's a lot of companies here that probably going to do very well for the next couple years. So I advise you to reach out to their CEOs, see who they are, the reputation. So thank you.
Test. Hello everyone, my name is Maike Krautscheid. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer and Lead Blockchain Consultant of Smart Ledger. We are a blockchain solution distribution channel, and as we heard in the presentation beforehand, the person said NFT will be the next big thing. Everyone will be using NFTs in the physical world and also in the digital world. And the starting point where we will start with is actually NFT ticketing, which is also very interesting when you combine it with further technologies. For example, with the metaverse, with the digital world, where you can also use NFT tickets. And what I see currently missing in the blockchain space is actually the current NFTs are possibly not real NFTs, as they are stored off-chain. The actual data is stored off-chain. So I think real NFTs have to be on the blockchain and accessible for everyone, like not on siloed data spaces when, for example, OpenSea goes offline and then your NFT is gone. So still the technology has to mature, and then we find a way that everyone will have real NFTs.
Hi, good evening. I'm Josephine Carner. I'm the CEO of Iconic Mates, and I know that I'm sitting between you and the cocktails afterwards, but I believe it's worth it to be here because what we are creating is something absolutely unique, and everything that you know about NFTs is never mind. We make humans, virtual humans that actually look like us. More important, they feel like us. And the NFTs behind them are just a certificate to prove you that you are the owner of these humans, of these meta-humans, and of all the feelings and all the life that they are creating. And the reason why we started this is because we need to challenge this whole metaverse story. I mean, it's just a bunch of lucky ducks and funny rabbits running around as avatars. And that's not the point of it, and obviously it will never be actually taken real if we keep having just some funky avatars. So we want to bring the soul to this metaverse, which is a civilization, which is humans that are having jobs, that are having actual an existence into the metaverse. And now the specialty with these virtual humans is that you just don't own them like a dead NFT that just sits into your wallet, and it's just you knowing that you have it, you know, just like having Mona Lisa all the way into a safe. But these virtual humans actually are going to have jobs, and we bring them into the augmented reality for you, to be next to you. Like, maybe not all of us have been born being pretty and being a Heidi Klum, but when you choose your avatar, your meta-human, you can actually give him the job that you could never have or you never trusted yourself to do, because now you have your avatar that's the extrovert, or that's the pretty one, or it can be a model, it can be the next level influencer, because maybe you don't want to show yourself on YouTube. So you can use now the meta-humans for that.
I love you, man. It's amazing, amazing. You know, what you guys are doing is phenomenal. When I spoke first time with you and told me about that, I was like, wow, you know. Tamagotchi, humans, Tamagotchis, you know, that sort of concept, you know, building humans, phenomenal. I love it, you know. Let's focus really on a couple of things. I know there's here the gaming side, you know, there's the human side there. There's, you guys are doing stuff to bring all of this together. One question that always makes me think about is how are we going to make these virtual worlds very interesting because there's a lot of them we build. A lot of them are going to be empty, you know, for sure. Okay, so what can we do to make sure there's interoperability, and it's easy to do that? Yeah, integration between the game, Iconic Mates, you know, bringing all of this together. People can just like teleport from one to the other quickly, you know. Is it going to be not just cross chains, but in terms of usability, there's a lot to do, right? What do you guys think we need to do to go to the now to the next level to achieve that? Because then we avoid kind of empty virtuals. People move more around, you know, without having to have 10 freaking wallets, you know, 100 tokens, you know, and then bridge this to another one, this token to another chain. I mean, it's a nightmare. What can we do? Yeah.
So I can already jump here, and as I said, we want to give the game developers and the metaverse developers a lot to think about it, because we have started all this as being agnostic, first of all. Like, we want to work with you, we want to work with you, we want to work with everybody. We export our skins in whatever format, decent format of this world that supports 3D mesh, and we're ready to give it to you, to the games developers, to actually use them into the games, which would be a great benefit for the users to actually show off what they have, their whole virtual humans and everything behind it, and the feelings. So we request from you now to give us the possibilities, the technical possibilities, to export our humans to your games.
That's absolutely fine with me. Like, we can put it straight into Unreal 5, I don't mind. Like, I suppose for me, when I'm looking at it, I just look at what's currently available in the metaverse, and essentially, if I hear that word one more time, I'm going to cry. Because they're not metaverses. They're just essentially really, really, really bad games, which have awful content, which are not designed for players, which are actually any good. Like, I've gone and played in the sandbox, and it's trash. Like, there's no other way to describe it. I look at Decentraland, and I'm sorry, but that is Second Life. And oh my God, I can buy some land. Whoop-de-doo. Like, that's ultimately what it comes down to. These are first-to-the-market products, which are awful. And there's no other way of describing it. I look at them as being the BlackBerry of the mobile phone market, because everyone had a BlackBerry. Who's got one now? No one. No one has a BlackBerry because they didn't innovate and they didn't make a product that people wanted. And this is exactly what we're dealing with just now in the metaverse. Epic Games have decided that they're going to build a metaverse. Fantastic. But it's going to take them 10 years, and it's going to cost them over $8 billion to do so. When that comes out, everything else is gone, because no one can compete with the Unreal Engine. Like, yeah, Unity's good, but it's not Unreal. And no one has that backing behind them. Facebook are going to make probably a half-baked effort at it, which a lot of people will adopt. By the time it gets round for them to finish building it, everyone will be off Facebook. But just look at the exodus that people are having just now. All you had to see was their share price drop dramatically overnight. You know, to build the metaverse, we have to build a product that people want to actually use. And no one wants to use them just now. I don't, and I love games. And that's a really sad state of affairs.
So I think that there's 2 points that you brought on the table. The first one is how to make sure that these metaverse or these games are not boring. And I fully agree with you. This is the main driver of how that's going to drive the next few years. So on our side, we took a good look at the whole environment and ecosystem. And there's 2 aspects that I want to talk about. So the first one is, on a play-to-earn MMORPG like we do, there's 2 things. First, you need to have a wide audience in a Western world that do not care at all about earnings, or the earnings that they're going to make inside the game. The tokens making $10, $12 per day, that's not going to matter to them. But you need this wide audience and make a real AAA game with content and keeping them in touch with mini quests, large quests, and having content story writers that are going to write a continuous, endless game. If you take a look at World of Warcraft, which is basically the leading MMORPG of the last 10 years, they're still there. And they created that whole environment of NFTs without even knowing it, because they had all these collectibles and items with new weapons, new armors, new hats, new whatever you want, that had a lot of retail secondhand value. You have people that would sell their World of Warcraft login and password so that they would sell automatically all the collectibles in it. And basically, it was the inception of all that concept. But that worked because there was constant creation and story writers behind it to make the world entertaining for Western people, and we have a very short attention span in the Western world. We jump from one thing to another in a matter of seconds. So what we've done is basically create a tool, an in-house tool. We poached a few people from Blizzard and World of Warcraft just to be transparent. These tools that we developed are basically creating quests inside the game without having any sense of knowledge about coding. So basically, they're creating all these events inside the game just by story writers. That's the first aspect of things. But to keep the game working in a play-to-earn environment, the in-game economics are extremely important. So you need B2B partnership with real-world companies that are going to promote themselves inside the game to fund then the wide audience of people that are going to play the play-to-earn to earn a living in the emerging market. And that's how you can share the wealth, spread the wealth in between the emerging markets and the Western world. And that's really the whole basic of the game and the essence that drove us since the beginning, because we need to start, sharing the wealth better all across the world. And I know it sounds weird, but it's extremely important and dear to us, because making profit on our own is a good thing, but it has to be spread worldwide. And that balance to make it workable is key. And to touch upon the interoperability of these metaverses, if you acquire these NFTs, we need to create like an API for meta to meta, if I may say, that's going to enable any type of NFTs or weapons or characters in different games to be transported from one to the other, because we can import anybody else's NFT in our own world, but we can put it a shape or a face or a visual design that's going to have any visual design in ours and any characteristics. So I think it's all about creating like a working group of people and major projects together to define that white paper of an API to interconnect each other.
Yeah, because we spoke about this literally just before we came on. Like if I wanted to be really bad, I could import your NFTs into my game and make them a little jelly that people could kick about on the floor. So there needs to be a way that we can stop that scenario from happening. Otherwise, some certain games, any games that use NFTs, will be able to do that, and like that's not a good thing, because you could destroy other games by doing that.
Yeah, but that's entertaining, right?
You just mentioned play-to-earn games. I mean, we know Axie Infinity and upcoming Next Protocol, Vandalorian. But I mean, when it comes to metaverse, it's just the start, and we have to discover what people like to do in the metaverse, and what can we do with the metaverse, also in combination with further technologies like the blockchain technology, and what all the things we can do with NFTs. So it's simply we just at the beginning of this journey to discover, and I think the metaverse doesn't need to be or look like real life. I mean, we all enjoyed Mario Kart or Nintendo, and it didn't look like real life. It was like simple figures and simple symbols, let's say, and we all enjoyed it, like hours and hours per day. So create a metaverse where we, for example, discover also tourism anew, where we can connect with people around the world, create a new economy for people independent from age, from location, ethnic background, gender, opportunities. I think this is one of the keys where we can put a focus with this new technology on.
Yeah, don't forget these are early stage startups that we're seeing here. So if you want to see the amazing games, there's another conference going on right now. I think it's one of the world's biggest conferences, and you'll see some incredible games there. But I think throwing cryptocurrencies around in the metaverse is probably going to be super entertaining. And obviously, you need to find the cool people to draw the crowds in, and we can crowdsource funds and make a lot of money.
Yeah, guys. So we need to think really how we're going to make sure, that we are continue this innovation, in this space. And gaming, I mean, the big players, only one recently that paid a lot of money for another company, you know. It's kind of spotted as this was coming, yeah? So, I think, in my opinion, is that if we don't start to get together and put a sort of this standard, like you're saying, you know, that we could actually bridge between the games and people move around, we're going to struggle because do you think it is a threat that all of the big players in the gaming are going to come quick or not? Are they coming quick or not? And do you think it is a threat for you guys, or do you think it is good that they come because, you know, it brings adoption faster? Yeah?
Well, I know firsthand because we've been approached by two of the biggest.
I know.
And the first thing that one of them said to us was, the reason we are approaching you is because we can't innovate. We're too big to innovate. And I was like, is that actually a serious statement? And they're looking at companies like ours because we can innovate and we can think outside the box and we can do things that they can't do without years of internal struggles in order to do it. So they will come. Of course they're going to come. They're going to build their own games which have NFTs and involve cryptocurrency. But they're going to let people like us do it first and make the mistakes and then prove it out, and then they'll come. The biggest issue just now is one of the biggest issues with anything to do with gaming and the game space is that all of them are on separate chains. And that's useless because you can't operate in that way. Gamers have to be able to jump from one game that uses cryptocurrency to another, and then into another if they wanted, because like what you said, in the like, you know, we have the attention spans, people have attention spans of flies. So in order to do that, then there needs to be a way for that to happen, and that's something that we've actively been working on, and the solution to that will hopefully be in about 4 or 5 months. So I'm quite looking forward to that.
I also would like to add, the big players might have more money, but we have the knowledge, we have the expertise, we have the team that are actually doing these things in a daily life, on a daily basis, and kind of like the nerds who really love and have the passion for these things. And I think it's also our experience that the big players are approaching us.
I'm afraid it's going again into a very classical separation of either you game or either you exist. But we're no longer at that point. It's not just about an interoperability of gaming and of taking some static guns from one game to the next one, but I think people always tend to be and to do what they already know. So I think we should move into a direction where we offer a complete thin line in between reality and the actual gaming. Like people can try new experiences in games and do things that don't hurt as much as they would do in real life and try out, but that they're still authentic to themselves and not just, you know, you close the laptop and then everything is done and over. And that's why we're looking so much into having this hyper-realistic feelings. And even when you have this virtual humans, you can, through the games that they are playing, you can actually influence them. It's like their psychology is going to change on how they play your games. And we're looking into working with you into making this as seamless as possible, the transfer between the real life and the gaming life, and the coexistence.
Big gaming companies are the best opportunity we have. Of course, they have the money to buy what we're doing. Of course, like Grand Theft Auto, they reached out to blockchain companies, so now people are going to be stealing NFTs on the game. So I think they're actually the biggest opportunity we have, and they'll move things at light speed once they fully get involved. So yeah, clearly it's like any industry. The minute that you innovate and you create value and you add something different into specific market, then immediately the much larger entities and the leaders in that industry, they look at it and like, oh my God, if we don't do something about it, if we don't acquire them, if we don't do it ourselves, then we're gonna be put on the sidelines and we're gonna die. It's very natural, and that's how the market has a tendency to, you know, cancel itself out. So obviously there will be consolidation. To be fair, if Microsoft now through Blizzard decides to create a few metaverse, MMORPG, NFT gaming, whatever,
if they really want to do it, they can do it in 2 months, period. They have all the libraries, all the things already developed. If they really want to do it, they can do it. So I think it's not only about the ability to develop and create a product, it's all about the mindset of the people behind it that innovate and create the value. So there will be initially a wave potentially of acquisitions, but at the end of the day, you will definitely see a group of studios and gaming companies that will spur out of that and continue growing steadily and organically into a stage where they can actually become one of the new big ones. I think that's what's going to happen.
Fantastic. Just very quick, we've run out of time. Just one or the other, you know. Gaming, interaction in the metaverse, yeah. Is it gonna be VR or AR?
AR.
AR.
We already do it AR.
XR.
Both.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I like it. XR, I'm going to stand with you on this one.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one as well. And the reason is very simple. Many people say VR, you know, metaverse. But 11 years ago, I was working for a corporate, and they did a big study where, you know, VR was tried before. And why it didn't take off? It's because a big panel was created, 10,000 people over 6 months, and what it came back is that after 1 hour is really uncomfortable. Yeah, so people have the experience, but I think the word they'll be using more is going to be the AR. Yeah, so thank you very much. These guys are fantastic.
Thank you.
I have to say,
Thank you.
thank you guys.
Thanks, man.